head into it soon. That's right, game one of Mineski versus VP. Blitz, what are your thoughts about the draft? Are you excited to see this mid-ancient apparition again?
Oh, definitely. I wasn't really able to watch it last time because we were casting the other groups.
Yep.
But I did hear that it went pretty well. It was the game that they played against Beast Coast, right?
Yes, I believe so. It's, so we should break down, since, you know, the panel was a little bit questionable about this new spell, because we really have not seen a whole lot of Ancient Apparitions. When it has been picked up as support, I liked Tsunami's comparison to it being kind of like Liquid Fire, you know, this long cooldown, you just kind of use this harassment ability. But the real value comes from the much lower cooldown. As you get it maxed out, it goes all the way down to 3 seconds. And with a gigantic range, you're pretty much like a sniper, hitting from 900 range away at that point, being able to just every 3 seconds do this big, gigantic hit. So as a core, it seems like it does kind of make sense for you to want to get this this hero as many levels as possible, but can it actually function as a core? I mean, it seems like a hero that'd be incredibly squishy once you get on top of it.
Yeah, the downside of it is that it's super glass cannon-y. I mean, you're going to put out tons of damage. I think that the new Chilling Touch, especially with levels, he should get a level 1, which he does. Once it's maxed, he's going to hit quite hard. It's just getting to that point is a little bit awkward as...
Fighting for the bounty runes. KP. Unable to grab it there. VP. Ooh, that Fisher block not quite on the mark. Mineski was able to get away there. KP cutting through the trees and getting out. The other side of things, we talked about the Ancient Apparition. We've got the off-lane KP Naga Siren, a classic since his days, going all the way back to when he was on Newbie.
And so you could see the harassment. I mean, they're just going to completely zone him out for this TB.
Yeah.
They're going to make sure that KP has no game, and I think this is the right idea. Slow him down as much as possible, and just give the TB a free time. And the reason why both the supports are down here is so that KP can't even cut the wave if he wants to. He has to actually enter the hard way. So he's going to continue to get nuked up as he misses out on the dodge.
Pasha is also having a hard time being able to cut the creep wave. Is going to be forced to TP back. He did pull the creep wave away, which means unless Mineski finds some sort of solution, TP in from Ninja Boogie, going to head to this mid lane where there's going to be some action in our first blood. No one manages to get that kill off the great Fisher block from Roger.
Yeah, easy does it, as any sort of lead for this AA is going to be pretty massive.
And KP pushed back once again. We saw from the layer stat that most Naga Sirens are going safe lane nowadays, but it is just Mineski and just KP specifically that still believe this hero can run in the offlane.
Yeah, this is going to be a KP special. Even when he was on MVP, it was the hero that you always had to look out for because they could just throw that curveball in, and they've done something similar here.
They believe in it. Do you believe in it, Blitz?
It's interesting is the best way I can put it right now. I think it's a way to protect the Dro, which I think is really important. And because it's not the centerpiece of your strategy, I think it's really nice. But in terms of being able to get levels and disable and stuff like that, I think it sort of lacks. He's not a playmaker. If Pasha gets behind, he always has the option of at least starting fights with his ulti, getting in early on, doesn't really need a lot of farm on the Bat Rider. Whereas I think the Naga Siren, to have the same effectiveness, you need a lot more farm.
Yeah.
The amount of damage that you can put out too is sorely lacking. Like, you do have disable in a different way, and you have a disengage, but you won't really be able to put out any damage without levels and without farm.
Yeah, the changes in Riptide definitely seems like it incentivized the one position Naga over the 3. But KP is going to try and make it work here, though his laning phase is certainly not working as he is still level 2. Keeps on pushing out those illusions to try and beat back the support, but Solo is not scared at all. He just keeps on going for it. Bat Rider is going to be dying here in the top lane as he actually dies to neutral creeps. Well played by Pasha, getting up to that high ground and was able to get that set up. How's our mid lane going, though? 11-7 right now. No one doing very well for himself as this Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, I'd hope that he was able to get the help of his team to secure that kill as Raging Potato comes in, but he's just going to make his way down towards bottom, I'd imagine, to help out KP. You can't just completely sack your Naga Siren, I think, at this point. And maybe even it's Raging Potato who goes for the skip.
Another block. The cold feet. He's going to be able to proc here. Just a really great setup and the combination. You don't need the full Fisher block. All you need is just enough to make sure the cold feet roots that Drow Ranger down.
And I do love the flexibility that VP has with their draft. It's like what we saw earlier in Game 1, PSG LGD versus Complexity, where you show one thing and you mean another. You show the Doom plus Pugna, and it's actually the Pugna that's the offlaner and the Doom that's the support. It's that kind of flexibility that allows you to do whatever you want and adapt in the drafting phase so much. You take this AA, you can play a mid, it means that you always have a hard counter for this Morphling at whatever phase of the game you go into. Morphlings and Huskars never really love playing against AA.
Yeah. I mean, the panel was even talking about there's a world where it's like they could have potentially, even in that last pick, run like 3-position or a shaker in mid Bat Rider, you know? Like, so when you're able to set up a draft where as you go into the game and you're waiting for players to pick up with certain heroes, you still are not 100% certain where the heroes are going to be. It's going to offer you a serious laning phase advantage.
Yeah, and I do love how he is using his Chilling Touch, not just for offensive harassing, but also to always secure the range creep. Quite intelligent. Just makes it hard for this Drow to catch back up into this lane if she's not getting any denies either.
Bounty runes, I have to say, all the teams so far have done a very good job of setting up situations that even when they're behind, so, you know, they just like run into the enemy side of the map, try and always exchange 2 for 2. As we have seen how the Bounty runes can play a serious impact on the net worth. The Alone keeps on hovering around this mid lane because it seems like the Naga Siren has really already been dealt with.
I do like the ward that they place over here too, just to spot when they do stuff like ancient stacks.
Oh, okay.
Try to get Moon back into the game. Because right now, he's 2 levels behind. He doesn't really have a game. No one's being so aggressive everywhere on him.
6-minute runes about to spawn. Moon is going to be able to push into Solo here. Solo in trouble, does not have the face edict to go for the disarm, so he's just going to die to the right clicks. And now an Ancient Apparition may be in trouble. He was actually silenced up the last word as he casted it. He got silenced, and as a result could not go for the release. So it just slides right on past Ninja Boogie. The support survives, and they killed the big core of VP.
I'm surprised that no one decided to go for that, considering there was 3 heroes, and we talked about how this is a glass cannon hero. He's very paper.
Yeah.
By walking up to that high ground, he was just making himself an easy target. They don't even need to stun him to really kill him. It just takes about 2 seconds and he goes down.
It seems like they just got into that pattern of repetition of like this Earthshaker AA always being able to kill the Drow Ranger, and just felt like he could continue to be very aggressive like that. Moon is going to be caught here. The lockdown of the Oracle is going to ensure the Ice Blast lands. Roger's in trouble, but no, he's actually fine. He's going to TP out. Nice flame break push back here as Pasha dives in deep into the jungle, punishes the Silencer, punishes Ninja Boogie. Ramses, ooh, picks up the Sunder level 6 and is able to get it off here on Ajit, who goes for the early rotation. Try and put pressure on this TB. May still be able to fight as they get the reveal from Raging Potato. The stun out and a big nuke from the Mineski Morphling to get the kill.
Very nice rotation from Ajit and Raging Potato. They really needed to help out KP's game. He was struggling real hard. He's only level 4, hasn't really picked up his farm, and he's getting gone out now at top as Pasha, utilizing the full offensive potential of this Bat Rider early on. He's going to flame break him back into the Firefly, and KP getting real low, should get solo killed here. Pasha with another one.
VP, they were another one of the teams always known for spamming out those voice lines. Pretty happy with that kill on the top lane. Now, that was something that Mineski did last time they drafted the Naga Siren, is that they thought because of the Naga being able to go go for the illusions and dispel off the sticky napalm stacks, that it would have been an okay matchup. But we did see last time that there was also scenarios where he would pop it, and then the Batrider could just control the lane every single time the illusions was on cooldown. They're going to give Roger a bit of space here now in the mid lane as the Ancient Apparition farms bottom, and our Terrorblade hits up to top lane. See if, much like the Morphling tried earlier, see if he can pressure the enemy safe lane, but Mineski are not going to give this up so easily. Look at Ajit just sitting behind KP's Naga Siren, ready for a fight, but it looks like VP did read the scenario thanks to Pasha and will back out.
Both supports right now just trading out, trying to get what they can as Fissure comes out just to harass a little bit, secure the range creep. Ninja Boogie now making his way towards mid. Level-wise, they aren't doing the hottest right now on the side of Mineski, at least when it comes to their two supports.
Yeah, there's going to be this really awkward moment where we're outside of laning phase, but these supports still do not have their level 6. And I'm going to say it's a lot more important to have this level 6 for the Silencer with his Global Silence or the Swamp. Like, they're not going to just have a ton of impact without those ultimates. Pasha looking around here, trying to find anybody with this deep smoke with Roger. Of course, if they don't find anybody, it serves an alternative purpose where they are able to get a very nice aggressive vision down. A successful scan, though. Moon should be wise to what's happening here, but just because he knows it's happening doesn't mean he can stop it. There's a great 1-2 punch from the Oracle, and AA kills him. That'll secure the bottom bounty runes for VP.
That's almost the Atos too. Onto no one. He made the rotation down towards bottom for a while now. But KP now being protected by Ajit. They're going to try to take the tower together.
Mirror Images trying to push back the Oracle and go for this tier 1 tower. The mass rotations from VP will force Mineski back. I like that. It's not much gold, but you can let those bounty runes stick around until the next 30-second marker. I think it's like an extra 2 gold for everybody.
It matters over
every little bit.
You never know when that 2 gold.
Pasha pressuring Moon here. Moon, that was a great flame break, and now he's going to be caught by the lasso. He's just going to take out here from all this fire damage. The TP rotations from Raging Potato. Again, what is this support really going to be able to do without his level 6? Eventually, Spirit is a good counter to Batrider because of the Swamp breaking the lasso, but seeing as he's only level 4, Mineski is struggling to get levels on these supports. Top lane, meanwhile, VP is willing to take some risks to get their support some levels, but those risks do come at a cost. Solo, farming up the top lane, ends up getting killed. Now Raging Potato here at bottom. They are going to be throwing out the Echo Slam, just trying to and pop him faster, but Mineski's already rotated over. Ajit turns into a Batrider himself, grabbing the bat with that flame break and getting the kill. Really great rotations from Ajit so far. Loving to see how active this Morphling can be.
Yeah. Earlier they did lose their Vengeful Spirit to, or it was their Silencer. Ninja Boogie went down to no one. Nice and easy, but good counter kills by Mineski, keeping up early on. Scores only 8-5 with 1,000 net worth lead, as this Ancient Apparition is going to hit the tower, but this should be a slow siege, and somebody on the side of Mineski should come defend this, as no one invis
Jit's going to join them here as they head into the jungle while KP pushes the tower. VP immediately evacuate that entire side of the map. Looks like they may just be giving up this tower in exchange for a bunch of space to farm.
By the way, KP not going for the build that we normally see him go, which is transitioning more into like a 1/2 position core. He in fact is going to go for the Meteor Hammer.
How are you feeling about this? I mean, it does give you it's like, I feel like I saw this once before from KP. I'm not sure if it was this tournament, but maybe a different one.
I think it's a cool build, and I think they know they have to push the pace because the TB-AA combo will always be able to kill their Morph Dro.
Yeah.
Plus, there's just much more control, I think, on the side of Virtus.pro. And so if you're Mineski, I think you're trying to push the pace and find ways into this game to open up on. Like, I don't think you just play the passive farming game.
He's got to take a more active approach.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough stuns to fight late game.
Will be able to get off that magic immunity and immediately just saves himself with the Fortune's End as well. They are going to have the long-term disable here in Raging Potato as that purge gets maxed out and locks down that Vengeful Spirit. Gonna find out Jit here as well. Actually goes for the lasso now. His team is pretty far away. They are going to be able to get the reflection. He's going to go for the TP out, and the Rattling Test is there in time. Now the Ice Blast, and that percentage will just cut down a Morphling who tries to morph in his strength like that. A big mid lane push is coming out from Mineski at the same time, so they will be able to get this mid-tier 1 tower. Let's you say this tower is all critical for most of these lineups, and at least that's going to be a decent exchange. Oh, beautiful silence coming out from Moon as they go from taking that tower to getting aggressive, and Virtus.pro did not expect that one bit. They will not tread into the high ground. That would have been a little bit dangerous, but they'll take the free kill on the captain of Virtus.pro.
A pretty nice snap for them is, I mean, they'd like the AA just because he's worth a pretty good amount of gold versus how hard he is to kill. Has really decided to tank up. Pasha now completes the Blink Dagger.
What do you think about this? The Blink Dagger as opposed to the Boots of Travel build. Do you think this is a similar concept that KP's going for?
I think he's deciding to himself, like, I'm probably not going to be the one to push out the lanes. It's almost always just going to be my TB.
Okay.
And that's really what the Batrider with the Boots of Travel is effective at, is Roger decides to try to go for the TP, but it's easily going to get caught out, should go down, no problem, as Raging Potato finishes him off with the Wave of Terror. I think he just wants to take fights, and I think he thinks that the initiation is even more important against heroes like Silencer and the Naga Siren, the instant initiation, I should say.
Ninja Boogie. We haven't talked about this yet, but he's actually been a part of a decent number of kills. He's stolen 12 intelligence so far. Ice Blast. Now the mirror image is going to help KP get out of that lockdown, but he still takes a lot of the damage. Jay turns into a Terrorblade as he jumps further away from him, gets off a reflection. They do have the Song of Siren, locking down a lot of these heroes, so they're going to try and get set up. A Raging Potato in the back line is still being run over by Pasha. He actually goes for the Storm. Now the Storm onto the back line, and they're going to be able to kill him. Ramses is going to stand here in this fight, and he does have the help of the Oracle. That's why he depended on Solo to be able to save him. Here the silence goes out. Jit is tanky enough to be able to get away, so he's good. KP in his positioning with the Song of Siren was able to get out of danger as well after he sort of set up that initiation. So they basically traded a Silencer for a Batrider. Not a bad exchange necessarily for Mineski, but you definitely want to be able to still defend this mid-tier 1 tower and hold that advantage. Mineski currently has, but they can't afford to lose their heroes. The Draw Ranger's in trouble. Will be able to get away as that Fisher wasn't quite enough to allow the Ice Blast to land. Now maybe Ramsey got a little bit too far forward as he silence up. Straight into 2 heroes. No fair damage there. And the Terrorblade's still in trouble. There is going to be the meter missing, and the Thunder does successfully go up with a swap back. It may not matter if you have that extra HP as he's pulled into position, but he actually is turning. KP's in trouble now. Eventually Spirit's already dead. The way from out from Jit is he's not able to get the kill on the Terrorblade. Mineski, a back and forth fight there, but just little misses here and there. Does mean that VP walk away with a slight win.
Yeah, and Moon and Ajit, that could have gone a lot worse for them. They got so low, but there was no follow-up damage on that beautiful Echo. There was no creeps nearby either, so didn't really get to maximize that damage. If you kill the Dro there, so huge for you, but unable to do so, and I mean, they're able to protect their mid-tower, which Moon might just decide to deny. I'd imagine he doesn't because it is healthy enough that you could probably take another fight around it if you wanted to and delay VP's timing even further.
Especially if we can get that Song of the Siren coming back up.
That wasn't even an ideal setup for them.
No, it wasn't at all.
It could have been a lot worse for VP there. But only a 1K gold lead for what a lot of people, I think, predicted to be a very one-sided series.
Yeah.
Especially after what we just saw in the last game. Everyone maybe thinks to themselves, the favorites will just dominate, but not the case whatsoever as
Mineski get in range. He's trying to get that swap. They pop the drums to give him the extra movement speed. But that's right to the side. 1 second for the TP as well, but the stun comes out just in time from Ajit, and they get the kill. And another bit of intelligence for Ninja Boogie as well. And look at that. Moon, very decisive, says a pickoff like that warrants a Roshan attempt.
And I feel like he could have just walked up, blinked. He did have it up. If he made it over that little river, he would have been just fine.
Yeah. Little mistakes like that can cost you big, not just your life, but the fact that Mineski is now bold enough to take the Roshan. The Song of Siren is back up, so it's going to be very difficult for VP to be able to contest, but they do have all this long range, and it's hard to be able to fight. It's the Ice Blast, which makes its way into the pit. It's a big nuke, but not enough to stop Mineski, as they will be able to pick up that Aegis for Moon.
Yeah, now Moon's getting steadily farmed as he is completely caught up from the laning phase. Third in net worth. He has overtaken no one's AA. And this is the best part about being able to play AA. All you really need is the Hurricane Pike.
Yeah.
Or Drill Ranger. All you really need is a Hurricane Pike. You feel really good. It's many different ways for him to disengage against the heroes that VP have. The TB isn't farmed enough where I think he's afraid.
So Platio is telling me mid-tower helps you control Roshan.
Yeah.
He said maybe he'll deny it, maybe they can fight again. They take Roshan, he immediately denies it afterwards.
Nice.
Perfect linking for your analysis.
Yeah, that's really cool that they decided to make that.
打的是酱油的作用，其实对，而且越往后打越偏酱油，因为对面大哥 BKB 更新出来之后，这个冰魂就很弱了。
Maybe they're smoked up behind this mid tower that prevents them from being able to do so. So just min-maxing a little bit as VP barely lead in this game now. Scotty is completely finished by Ramses, and this will help him a lot against the pursuit of the Drill Ranger.
Straight up Scotty, already complete for Ramses, who's got a decent, healthy lead ahead of everyone else. Of course, this is mostly a single core TV, right? Like this Ancient Apparition Bat Rider, they're going to enable fights really well. They're going to get the initiation. I'm not going to discredit what the Ancient Apparition can do in a team fight. It's still the percentage-based damage is always going to be strong. But when it comes to the hard carrying of physical damage and taking towers, that is all on Ramses.
He's under attack.
I do like that Vengeful Spirit has a drums.
And that drums is not going to be able to save him here, though, as Meteor Hammer.
I just like that Raging Potato can be a little bit more core-like.
Yes.
In this game, especially with Dro on her team. You shouldn't underestimate the amount of damage that she can put out.
Especially if you can get any sort of stat items, multiple bracers or wraith bands.
Yes.
You swap and save your ally, you die, but your illusion can still keep right clicking. Oh no, that E-Blade doesn't land.
Oh, but they might still have him.
Still may be able to get a really good Meteor Hammer with the Global Silence also going off. The Oracle can't save himself. They're going to focus on the fight position first and deal with the Ancient Apparition afterwards. He throws out the Ice Blast, but he's silenced and won't be able to do too much. But Ramsey's still the harder carry here and can run down these heroes. With this, Scotty just rips apart the Morphling, able to take out the Aegis with the Drill Ranger, and Rajo sets up on him. They don't even really need his stuns. Moon is just delaying the inevitable at this point. Mineski thought they had a good fight, and they had a two-man Meteor Hammer set up, but Ramses is showing there's a reason he's so far ahead in net worth. He just continues to build more and more as his big damage allows him to win a fight and increase his lead.
And they also wasted their 5,000 gold item by using the E-Blade in conjunction during the song. Like, the timing of that couldn't have been worse for them. The Global Silence gets popped, but I do like that Vengeful Spirit
on the fight position first and deal with the Ancient Apparition afterwards. He throws out the Ice Blast, but he's silenced and won't be able to do too much. But Ramsey's still the harder carry here and can run down these heroes. And with this, Scotty just rips apart the Morphling, able to take out the Aegis with the Drill Ranger, and Rajo sets up on him. They don't even really need his stuns. Moon is just these fights. A lot of credit does go to the way the VP have drafted this setup. I feel like it's very hard for Mineski to get in position for these Song of Sirens because this long-range poke, you know, like it's so good against the hard commitment five-man team fight that Mineski want to be able to take.
Oh, for sure. Very good point. And I think VP's lineup is just easier to execute. The amount of stuns that they have, it's easy to play around the single core TB because you know that he's like this, he's just this late game beast that you don't really fear anybody. Going late game with TB on your team does not feel bad at any phase. You always think to yourself, like, we can do this. Plus, they have plenty of ways to deal with the Morph, the Drow Ranger, like, they have a lot of control on their team, whereas for Mineski, it's really just this Naga Siren Sleep. Eventually, everyone will get an item to deal with the Global Silence if they haven't already. You've got Greaves on one core, you've got a Manta on another, so the amount of actual disable that comes out on the side of Mineski is very limited, whereas almost everybody on VP comes with one.
And you'll have even less answers if he manages to complete this Butterfly and the Terrorblade now. A lot of your physical damage coming out from the Drow Ranger, the right clicks, the Morphling are not going to be a factor either. As you can see, the Vision battle has gone on pretty extensively here. Mineski's actually killed slightly more wards, but it's going to be the Silencer caught as he was just, Ninja Boogie was just killing the Observer ward, but dies for that positioning.
And Morph now is going to go for his BKB. We saw how quickly, once he committed the offensive E-Blade, he died in 3 seconds to that TV.
Yeah.
It took no time at all. Does still have the Drow Ranger aura though, so we'll always continue to hit hard, but full Butterfly now completed by Ramses as well as a DD rune.
That has got to be faster than the average for sure. This build up from Ramses. Super scary is there. Yeah, there it is. 5 minutes faster than the average. And again, had a Scotty before that, so this insane timing and a double damage this tier 2. Whew.
This 3-item timing is so good.
Yeah.
From Terrorblades. Once you get the Scotty for the HP and just the ability to have your own chase mechanic on top of the Butterfly, this is when the hero really starts to feel good. You don't have an MKB on the Drow Ranger. You don't have one on any of the cores really. The Morphling wants to get a BKB beforehand, and Ramsey's going to pop the DD and go for the Metamorphosis. And they're just going for the high ground. You have to come back faster on Mineski. Look how this went down.
They're not in position for this whatsoever. The tier 3 is already dead. Ramses still thinking maybe I can get some damage on this Ranger X. I might as well make sure that he's silenced up right now. Does take some damage from the Drow Ranger, but you can see the Butterfly into effect. Look at his Glimmer Cave setup though. We have a Song of Siren now. VP is very well spread. They're going to go for the Stone of the Oracle, see if they can burst down Ramses as quick as possible. The Ice Blast goes out, but there is that Global Silence. The Ice Blast is released. It does manage to catch on Jin, but it's very important, but he's going to be swapped back by Raging Potato. Rad still trying to get this damage. He does manage to kill the Morphling. Immediately buys back. Raging Potato may still take out Ramses. Realizes he's going to start backing up as his double damage Metamorphosis is wearing a little thin with the buyback of the Morphling. They're just going to move their way backwards, knowing that KP is kind of stuck right now. If they can find him, Roger sure enough does, and managed to get the Fisher block too. KP has no defense of the Song of Siren. He obviously used that to start the fight, so VP will end the fight with a kill on the Naga Siren KP.
And this should still force VP back. No meta, missing a hero, a forced buyback on the Morphling. They're perfectly comfortable with that trade. They can just wait for the next Aegis and Cheese to be able to go for the high ground attempt unless they find another DD or something like that. But still, some time has been bought by Mineski. Not looking too good though. They can't protect their Morphling is the big problem, is he can't fight head to head against the TB.
Yeah. Do you think, like, what is, you know, barring, like, okay, I get a Song of Siren, I'm going to get a 3-man stun with my Meteor Hammer, is there a better setup for Mineski? Should they be targeting someone else? Like, we saw KP going for the stun on the Oracle, that makes sense. Should more of them commit to killing the Oracle right away? Should we have him shotgun?
I don't really know how, though.
Yeah.
Like, when the Morphling commits in, they just die. They don't have stuns. That's a large part of their lineups.
Okay, there's going to be swap. Raging Potato gives up his life to buy Drow Ranger a second chance.
It's never about what your late game can potentially look like, because I could see a situation where a Drow Ranger and a Morph, they both get 6-slotted, you get an Ags to deal with the TB. I could see a way that you win that kind of game.
Yeah.
But it's the ability to deal out that damage that they sort of just lack. Like, you can't hold anybody in place right now. Look how everybody just runs, disengages. The Manta dodge on the E-Blade. They just have to run away. Whereas VP have the ability to continuously chase.
Moon did not get hit by the dust, and now he's thinking, maybe I can set up on this. Maybe they'll get out of position, but Virtus.pro do not.
And some high grounds being pinged.
Might as well. No threat of global silence. While the silencer is down now, he does have a buyback. If there's some sort of sick Song of Siren setup here, maybe they could buy back and go for the fight. Or maybe it'll just be Ramses, the Ancient Apparition. Ice Blast is coming in. The Draw Ranger's already taking so much damage again. There's going to be a swap. Now the Song of Siren goes down. But are they going to be able to do anything here? KP is not going for the Meteor Hammer. He said that's just a defensive sleep here. But that means without that initiation, they're just going to have to give up on the top lane of Barracks.
And this is going to go down no problem. Mineski, they're looking for the chase, but unable to really find anything. Without sleep, they're going to go for the smoke, but I don't really know how highly I value the smoke right here. They might catch Pasha, who has a gem. This would probably be the biggest upside for them, is if they just catch this Bad Rider by himself. And
they do catch the swap. He blinked as the swap went down, ended up in the same position, so they do, well, they do get the kill. Don't think they realized that gem was dropped in the trees, though. That was a smart little play by Pasha heading into those trees and may have saved it. Meanwhile, they're going to keep on going. I love this, but immediately the buybacks, and look at that! He just turns around, kills that Vengeful Spirit, nice and easy. Now the Morphling pops a haste and says, I gotta get out. We forced 2 buybacks. We only lost the Vengeful Spirit. That's not the worst thing in the world. It's a little bad when Ramsey says, well, let's just go into Roshan then.
Yeah, this is going to be, for VP, what they think is the game secure, where you take at least 2 sets against this Mineski lineup.
And if it wasn't secured already, gem going back into the hands of Pasha, a 10-second BKB for the Terrorblade. He was just always ahead of the timing. He's like, I've got Scotty before you've got the E-Blade, so you can't shotgun me down. I've got Butterfly before the Draw Ranger's a threat, so you can't right-click me anymore. Now he's got Magic Immunity again, so he doesn't have to worry about the Naga Siren into Meteor Hammer. You should always be able to get off the Magic Immunity now that they've changed that chain stun.
Ramsey's going to deal with this bottom lane. Continues to be so massive in this game. Been a part of 15 of his team's 24 kills, so it's not even like this is just a free farm, AFK farm Terrorblade. He's hitting towers. He is completely neutralizing the threat of Ajit. Whenever he goes in, just immediately pops. The buyback also costs us more so much.
Yeah.
Like, Ajit has been struggling to catch back up. He was almost at his BKB before he felt like he had a buyback in that top engagement. Now he's just about to finish it. Doesn't have the buyback for another 3 minutes, and I imagine if you're VP, you want to take advantage of that time. Just go for the high ground. It coincides with the timing of your Aegis too.
And your buybacks, I mean, a Bat Rider and an Oracle, those aren't really important buybacks that you've used.
Yeah, and
big ones are TB and AA.
Since his top lane is always pushing in, it's not even like Mineski can get outside their base if they win a fight. They would have to win like 2 fights in a row to be able to get comfortable doing something on the map.
Daedalus complete, so you thought the Morphling dropped fast before.
That is a fully completed Daedalus. I mean, a second ago he just bought BKB. 2 seconds later has that Daedalus.
And so he's like, well, I've got too many items with this Aegis. Drops the boots for the Daedalus and BKB. And it's not like he needs any movement speed when he's just gonna stand there and hit your buildings. It's up to Mineski to finally find that sick team fight that they've been thinking about this entire time. Draw Ranger just leads out on the Terrorblade, tries to get some damage. But again, he's so tanky in that Butterfly. How do you stop this? Able to get away from so much damage in the back lines. The Lotus Horn's going to be able to turn around one stone. Roger's going to be saved by Solo. Now they do have the lasso, but that's going to be stopped. Now the Song of Siren doing a Meteor Hammer. That's going to be a beautiful Meteor Hammer onto 3 of them. The blink away from Roger is going to be okay. Fisher stopping a lot of his damage. That Terrorblade though, turning around and helping out his allies. The Echo Slam into the back line. Ajit being controlled down, switched over to the Morphling. Oh, it doesn't matter. He just gets ripped apart by the Terrorblade. He tries to go into strength more, but that just means no armor against the physical damage of this Terrorblade. Moon slides away into the night with the Shadow Blade, but they just dive in deeper. Will be able to catch the Ninja Boogie Silencer, dead for 70 seconds. Same goes for the Morphling, and without those cores, 2 against 4. KP is certainly not farmed enough to be able to stop this as Virtus.pro say, let's make this easy. Ignore Megas for now. Let's just go hit the tier 4s until a buyback of Ninja Boogie makes them perhaps reconsider.
Yeah, at least on the tier 4s, but they're going to hard commit for these Megas. KP coming in, doesn't have the ulti. I mean, he's just feinting, trying to do whatever they can. He's saying, look at me, try to go on me. They'll oblige. They'll try to go for the kill onto the swap.
It's 1,000 damage from Ramses. A buyback immediately from KP, but now that they've secured Megas, let's go for the throne in Mineski. They see the writing on the wall. They call it here. GG. Virtus.pro, the mid-ancient apparition with their own bit of flair. Mineski's bit of flair with that off-lane Naga Siren did not look nearly as good. And to be honest, Blitz, I mean, looking at the way this draft is set up, it just seemed like a dream scenario. This TB wasn't really countered that hard, and it just looks so good for a single core TB against what is a pretty slow and greedy lineup in Mineski. He took full advantage of all of those heroes needing.
الحمد لله على السلامة بابا. شو هذا؟ وين سيارتك؟ كنت وقفت تاكسي لحالي يعني. أنت جايب شنطة تكفيك سنة.
Shaker, right? You jump in, you're the one initiating, you're the one doing saves. He got 2 kills when he was level 1 on the Drow middle. Just 2 blocks and the mid's over.
And not many teams are leaving their offlaners alone. Like the fact that Pashit still has a good game after being 1v2 is pretty impressive, but it allowed, Shaker Roger to impact both mid and bottom lane. So, you know, the roaming 4 is back. At least when you have a Shaker, that's what you don't really pick Shaker to sit in the lane.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, he needs to be able to move around to have an impact early on.
And it is a first pick hero, so we might see a ban, right? The people are banning it every time versus Liquid. You might have to do it versus VP, but only so many bans.
All right, boys. Well, I do have to remind you,
there's no such thing as a perfect rider. This is why I use Grammarly to check my
Things
work.
could not be looking good for them, and they need this win to solidify themselves in the DPC. But before we get there, how about we take a word with our boys over with a little interview.
好的，我们首先欢迎 KP 跟阿杰来接受我们的采访。那 KP 已经是中文观众比较熟悉的老朋友了，还是问一下阿杰，因为我比较惊讶，他其实汉语非常的流畅。你是简单介绍一下自己吧。
我是来自马来西亚的华人，就我的主语言也是华语，所以，
那我们今天首先来问一下，来到这个 Major 感觉怎么样？
感觉很棒。
You might be wondering, how does Grammarly work? The answer lies in complex, cutting-edge algorithms developed over years of research by some of the world's leading computational linguists. Through artificial intelligence, Grammarly's algorithms learn the rules and hidden patterns of clear, effective writing by analyzing millions of sentences. When you write with Grammarly, Grammarly's AI analyzes each sentence and looks for ways to improve it, whether it's correcting a verb tense, suggesting a stronger synonym, or offering a clearer sentence structure. And we're not done yet. Grammarly's team of engineers and linguists is adding new and smarter suggestions all the time. Are you ready to give it a try? Installation is simple and free. Visit Grammarly.com today.
虽然是坎坷，就尽力就好了，不让自己后悔，不让自己。
其实 Mineski 的话是有比较频繁，就是有换过人嘛。KP 你也是从中国赛区到东南亚赛区，其实你很久之前就在东南亚赛区打过，然后再回到这个赛区，你感觉有什么不一样吗？
那时候感觉没那么多队吧，然后现在竞争就很多队，然后很多都是很强的队。 感觉现在就没那么容易吧。
那现在 Mineski 第2个 Major 了，你们对自己的一个期待值在哪里？
期待的话，我肯定期待能拿够分去 TI 吧，就这个需要可能前3吧。
我感觉前4就很开心了。
前几？
前4。
前4，这为什么差了1个？
没什么啊，就感觉毕竟是挺难的吧。当然希望能拿前4以上，可是就。 满意上来说，前4我就很开心了。
有没有你们觉得是在这个比赛当中，大家会比较忽视掉的，可能会成为一匹黑马的队伍，在你们的训练或者是
Mineski
有吗？
一样。
好，我们希望 Mineski 像黑马一样冲出来。好，希望2位能够在赛场上给我们惊艳的表现，谢谢。
Well, Mineski hopes that they are the dark horse that nobody expects to win this. That's kind of sad for them, but I get where they're coming from. Hoping for a top 3, a top 4. Their dreams are about to be dashed if they don't win this next game, guys.
Yeah, they need to. I mean, I would probably be sad if they lost. They would probably be sad if they lost, and I'm sure.
Gods, you would probably be happy.
I love. I love it lower bracket games because someone loses. You know, that's the matches that matter. I love Mineski losing. I love misery.
Gods,
I'm a bit of a, yeah.
This is the thing that Gods does. He's a very good panelist because you can just make up lies about him, and he knows it's better for the show if he just goes along with it. Nobody else punishes him like this except for me. Gods, you're allowed to disagree. Feel free.
I wouldn't be sad. I wouldn't be happy.
I'm trying to help you. You heartless animal. I'm trying to save you from this.
Yeah, look. Yep. I get emotionally invested in the teams in their plight. I'm here to tell the story of their misery, not to be a part of their misery, Slacks. We're storytellers here.
Gracious me. Well, I do have something that will cheer up everybody at the arena. In 14:30, which in America time is 1 hour from now, whatever that is, we have a signing session with LGD. So head on over to LGD's signing session less than an hour from now at 2:30 p.m. And if you're at home watching, don't worry, because you can tweet over your questions to Grant. He will be there the entire time answering questions on Twitter. That is at Grant.
Leave me all your critiques, too. I would love to read them.
Thank you. He'll shoot those questions over to LGD post-haste.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. But enough about signing sessions, enough about happy times. Let's get back into the serious Dota. Let's get serious, boys. We've got an elimination game here. Mineski has to pull something out. I mean, that was a greedy draft. At this point, do we play a little bit more normally? Do we space it out a little bit? Or do you go all in on these strats that you've baked at home?
I think you kind of wheel it back a little bit because, right, like the Drow Morphling, you're like, oh, that's okay. You can do something with that. But then you add a Nog on top of that, and you actually have 3 heroes who just need farm. And if you just lose even 2 of your lanes, you're just going to lose the game. So just, you know, take a little bit of that greed away, and you'll be a little bit better.
Sure. God's VP, very punishing first draft. Do you think they're going to switch it up at all?
Probably it's VP, so they're a team that are happy to try different things, experiment a bit. You mentioned before the series Slacks how many crazy different out-of-the-box heroes we've seen, but from these 2 teams, and partly it's just VP in a experimental phase.
Absolutely. Great. You know anything about this this coach here, Mr. 71?
I do. He was actually the coach for them back in Epicenter,
That's
and
right.
he was very, very good. I got to talk with him a little bit, and you know what he does? He meditates a lot. Like,
really?
We were just sitting around, you know, at this table. There's 3 of us talking. He actually just meditated for like 30 minutes, didn't say a word, eyes closed. And I was like, wow, wish I could do that.
You don't meditate?
I do not meditate. I've done yoga, some Tai Chi here and there, but, you know.
God, you're a hipster. I'm sure you're into that kind of stuff.
Meditation?
Yeah.
Meditation's a bit too mainstream.
Whoa. What do you do, Gods?
You wouldn't have heard of it, Slack.
You wouldn't know. Sorry.
I don't have the patience for that kind of stuff. As soon as I start not thinking about things, I think about all the things in life that terrify me. It stresses me out a lot more.
What terrifies you?
Aliens, mostly.
Oh, okay.
You ever see X-Files?
I don't think you have to be worried. I don't think you're going to be the first one they take away if they come to our planet.
Have you ever been hypnotized, Lex?
No, I don't believe in that.
Yeah, I don't believe in it either.
As a psychology major, as a neuroscience major, in fact, I think it's balonies, but you know, it is helpful for some people.
It is.
Yeah.
So you know what? If it works for you, go out and do it.
Go out and hypnotize. Do whatever you need to do.
I do want to go back to some of the interview. They were talking about how it's tougher and tougher in SCA, right? Because there are more and more teams coming, and people will be like, oh, they're just saying that so they look better. But if you watched Boom ID at the minor, like, they're a definite threat to take down Mineski throughout these next qualifiers, I think.
Yeah. Well, Boom ID's qualified for, like, what, 3 minors in a row now, I think?
And they've gotten better and better placed at each one.
And they're competing against always, like, TNC or Mineski in those minors. So it's, like, it's
4
not easy.
teams now. Yeah, it's tough. And I think the self-awareness there is good because you really do have to, like, if a new team's coming up, you're like, uh-oh, we got to change something. And that's why, you know, they brought back their coach and all that. And we'll see. I'm nervous for them, though. You said elimination right now, and they're definitely the very heavy underdog.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people sure are like hoping for him, and I think you're right. I mean, trial by fire in such a competitive reason like SEC, that is what makes such a good team that competes here in the major. One of the, I think NA is also an extremely competitive region as well.
Probably the best region.
I would say, hands down, the most competitive.
If we don't get 8 slots next major.
Valve, I know you're watching.
Let's compare qualifying to majors through SCA with 2 slots to NA with 3.
We're not biased, but I think that everyone should have to qualify except for NA teams.
It makes sense to me.
12 NA teams.
If you can make a stable roster in NA that stays together for 6 months, you should just automatically get to a major.
You just get it.
I mean, I don't think many teams can do that, though, Slacks, is the problem.
Oh, please help us. All right, anyway, let's head on over to the draft as we see nothing too surprising here, except for maybe the Beastmaster. Batrider is, in my opinion, a great idea to first ban, and then first pick Drow Ranger. Look at him. He's disgusted in the crowd.
Yeah, he is. But, I mean, if Drow's going to be let through, I think some teams are letting it through more, but it is a very broken hero right now. Just some teams think they can beat it. Obviously, VP being the better team here, they might just have a strategy against it like we already saw.
They've let it through more than anyone.
Yeah.
They let Beast Coast pick it up in their series. They let OG play it in at least one of the games. They've now let Mineski play at both games. So they're very much in let's try to figure out how to beat Drow, because this is, you know, to win this tournament, it's not just about beating Mineski. It's about beating the teams that to come. And if you can figure out how to play against Drow, that's going to go a long way for your drafts.
Yeah, and it's not like they need the DPC points. Obviously, you know, you want to win. You want to get those tournament wins under your belt. But honestly, learning here is one of the best things. Even though there might be a patch after, and then you're like, oh, why'd we do that? Why didn't we just win the tournament?
Sure. Well, as you said, Grant, Virtus.pro's Earthshaker last game was extremely good at getting on top of that Drow and making sure they had nothing to do. So, not too surprised to see it as a first pick here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised it wasn't banned out. They banned the Batrider. They were more worried about that Pasha Batrider than they were about the Earthshaker, which is surprising because I think this long-range like support lockdown as well as getting on top of people. But Batrider's a very big lane dominator, I guess. And, you know.
Yep, I completely agree. Nature's Prophet as well, extremely strong. And, you know, we talk a lot about piercing the back line and getting to that Drow. He can go literally anywhere. So, pretty good pick. Hey, what happened to Spirit Breaker? Remember that hero?
Yeah, he's awful.
Yeah, he's just...
Charge is a terrible ability.
Doze is a terrible ability.
What?
Yeah, the new... What does it even do now?
It gives you, like, status, and no one plays it, so who really cares?
It speeds you up.
And status.
And gives you status resistance and increases your damage.
He's a fun hero. Cool. Pub players love him, but the hero's biggest weakness is just the fact that charge is a dumb, useless spell. Yeah,
like you can't even charge, right? Drow just silences you, and the charge doesn't hit. The fact, like, if they change that mechanic, there's a possibility we see a random one, but not now.
Yeah, like charge gives you invulnerability then.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds OP, but I actually think that's the kind of OP ability Spirit Breaker needs to even be considered viable.
All right.
Agreed.
Thanks a lot, Australian Ice Frog. Sounds good. Mineski going to go with Jakiro. This is actually something that they've run on Ninja Bookie before with some decent success.
it's probably one of their favorite 5s. And I mean, we've seen Jakira some, I think PBD played it for NIP, but Mineski, this is like their 5. And it's strange because it provides you a lot of team fight. But if you get a bad lane, that hero just completely falls off. You get tri-laned, he's bad because you need levels on that hero.
He needs a lot more than a normal support, right? And if he's not hitting towers, I mean, if you have a Jakiro on your team, you haven't taken a tower by 10 minutes, something's gone really wrong. I don't know if you're taking a tower.
Yeah, it's a little different now because I think where you go like 2-0-2 and then you max Ice Path, right?
Yeah,
I think is the new build, and that is good because that Ice Path, man, it is a huge AoE lockdown that people just kind of forgot about.
Yeah. Yeah, once you're out of the laning phase, those other 2 spells don't do as much.
Yeah, like Dual Breath is like one of the best in-lane ones, and then like out, you're just like, this is actually just useless. Yeah. Liquid Fire is always good, but the problem is how do you scale? Do you want the Ice Path? Do you want the push? You never know how many levels you're getting.
And like as a 5, your job isn't really to hit towers as much. The damage from Liquid Fire has been nerfed a lot over the years. It's really just like attack speed slow more than anything.
Oh, Mineski is definitely setting up for a Medusa or OD here, right? You don't ban Spectre and Sniper. Unless they think like Sniper's a counter to Drow, which I don't think
She's a little bit, for sure. Just because you've got like this outrange her just goes a long way.
There we go.
It's going to be a Medusa.
Extremely excited. The CIS special coming out with Disruptor. Probably one of the only teams to be playing that right now. And a Leshrac, who's extremely seen a lot of play in this tournament. Very successful, but at the same time, since we've been in the main stage, kind of ignored.
Yeah, it has. I love it in the mid-game verse because it's going to be a core Nature's Prophet now, and like an Atos Leshrac build, if they go that way, this Nature's Prophet's going to be pretty useless. I thought they were just going to straight up pick Medusa. We've seen Drow Medusa. Everyone's like, well, it's kind of greedy, but it's won almost every game in the group stage, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is true. And a lot of people have been banning against it, as you said, almost pretty much every series. So that is in Mineski's wheelhouse. We do have a couple other heroes that we could be seeing, some weird ones. I still really want to see the Kai P, the Slardar, the Underlord, the Darkseer, the big boys that can do stuff.
Yeah,
he might be playing the Leshrac here. They do sometimes put in his hands when it's a core. But yeah, those are perhaps where he had a bit more success in Mumbai.
I miss Slardar. I think that hero is
He's really good.
I don't want to say underpicked, but like underutilized. Is that the same thing? Am I just saying words?
No. I think you're completely right. I mean, the hero has changed dramatically since they took out like the chance percentage on the bash, and I mean, just playing in lane, he can be such a great lane closer. But what do we know, right? We're not playing in the major, huh?
That's true. It's weird, right? Have you noticed some of the heroes have been like CK and Slardar are kind of the same? You always get this like, I know when I'm gonna bash, I know when I'm gonna crit. It's feeling weird, we're kind of moving away from
Yeah. It feels bad for Chaos Knight. His whole kit is supposed to be randomization and chaos.
Not anymore.
He's going to be called Order.
Well, the amount you crit is still random.
It is.
Ooh.
And your base damage is still like insane variance, I want to say.
Oh, cool.
It is. It's like 41 to 71 or something a level. It is very strange.
Something people forget about with some heroes. That damage number you see is not how much they're actually right-clicking
for. Yeah, scroll over it and you'll see the whatever it is.
Let me complain once on this panel, guys. That's all just let me whine about seeing
Well, Slardar was picked and played when Lifestealer was like the best carry in Dota. That's when Slardar rose up. Now Lifestealer's gone. Slardar's kind of disappearing again because we're seeing carry picks that aren't afraid of Slardar very much.
Yeah, we're like, I mean, these TBs and Morphlings, they love playing versus Lifestealer, which means they also love playing versus Slardar, so what are you going to do?
All right, well, speaking of the slithering race, we got a Naga Siren being taken out by Virtus.pro this time. How does that help out with this team? Is it mostly just the carry potential?
I think you also have an Earthshaker and a Disruptor. You actually finally have that set up for sleep, which we haven't really been seeing. We've been seeing it used to either get on the backlines like last game or to escape, but you actually have the Wombo combo now.
Yeah, finally.
Yep.
It's been a long time since we've seen sleep do really anything. It's been a pretty worthless skill.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, because if you're using it to escape, why'd you pick a carry where his ulti is just to escape? It doesn't feel right.
Pick Jug and Spun.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Simple. I mean, obviously, you could get pierced through the span or something, but who knows?
Thank you, Grant.
You're welcome.
No
mechanics.
No more mechanics.
Tsunami taught me that.
Rest in peace, buddy. Anyway.
Well, I mean, sorry, it's not funny.
Okay.
We'll see.
Hey, Emperor Spirit getting picked up. Grant, Oh, it actually was Tsunami who said this. Rest in peace, Tsunami. But he did say that Mineski is one of the teams that does value this hero very much, where most teams have given it up at this point. Right in Mineski's wheelhouse. Is it a good pick in this one, though? They've got nets. They've got stuns. They've got glimpse.
I mean, you're correct. And if it's the Posh Nature's Prophet, it's probably going to be a quick Orchid as well. It's scary. The thing I always look at with Ember is you're looking at all the heroes and you're like, oh, man, we have to pick our core right now, but what do we pick? And it's always like, oh, Ember Spirit. He's usually going to do okay in the lane, if not lose it. But right when you hit level 6, you can get runes. You can start rotating. They want to play way more active than they did last game with the Ember. Ember, Lesh, Drow, they're just going to be rotating, hitting towers.
Yeah. Like with Ember, you're afraid of Disruptor Shaker if you're, team fighting and stuff, but if you're 15 minutes of the game with your fast levels and running around the map, you're not afraid of these heroes. Like, Disruptors, even when he hits level 6, like if you're running at him, he's playing on the back foot. So that's where Ember can be pretty scary.
Yeah. What is this Lion ban? What is that?
Maybe does it counter something they want to play? I don't know.
I mean, Lion just, right, they clearly need a 4 hero, and Lion has a stun, a hex, a scaling ultimate.
Deals with Naga illusions, I guess.
I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Lion's just a very good hero. The burst damage, right? Because they are kind of missing burst damage on Mineski, and that would be it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the ability to take out the illusions on Naga, is that strong, when Lion hits that level 20? Careful. The double suck. It could get him.
I mean, it could. It honestly is a real thing, but I think this game, if VP wants to win, they're probably going to take it a lot earlier than that, so. Let's see. And they banned out, so they banned out Spectre, Odie, and Sniper. How is there not like a Medusa somewhere?
I think well, the OD now is, I guess, because they're planning to run the Ember mid, but
yeah,
it did feel like with Spectre Sniper ban, they wanted to pick up some other ranged core, but
they're smiling. They know what they want, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, before someone suggested pick 7-1 was like waving them off, saying like, no, we're playing this.
Let me handle it. You hired me. Let me do my job, please. And they take the puck. Okay, so we won't know if it's I assume it's a 4 puck. We've already seen this tournament, but it could be a Leshrac as well.
I think, KP plays the puck as well as a 3.
Yeah, but that's one of like Moon's favorite heroes too, but I think he is the Ember. What do you think it is? I think it's probably I want to say 4 puck. I think 3 Leshrac is so much more useful.
I just don't think Raging Potato plays puck. At least I can't recall him playing it.
I think you have to know, like as a support, like obviously you have to know to play a hero to play it, but especially in like a new role,
I think it's also more an NA thing playing this 4-position puck. Like I haven't, the SEA teams have not really gone for the support puck as much. Like I know like Crit's done it a bit.
Necrophos, heck yeah. Now guys, I have to be real with you. Mineski said their major fault was too greedy. Yeah, their lineup is, these heroes all need farm, don't they?
They kind of do, but with the Leshrac TB, I think they can push earlier towers and you get like that earlier gold for all your cores. It's still extremely greedy, and I really like VP's draft. Like this Necro, if he gets 2 or 3 items, just unkillable with the Naga standing behind him.
Yeah. It's not a good Necro game, I want to say that. Like there's so much magic damage. Other than the Drow, all the other 4 heroes have magic damage, don't care about Ghost Shroud. It's a good Necro lane. Like, you're laning him mid against a melee hero. He should do very well, and I think that's why they picked the hero.
And no burst, too, right? I think.
Yeah.
The puck a little, but.
A little bit from the puck, a little bit from the Ember. But, yeah, the Necro pick I'm not sold on.
Okay.
But I think VP as a whole has looked like the better team.
Yeah.
Grant, what are you feeling? Who's going to take this bad boy?
I hate to agree with Gods, even though he's a pretty smart guy, but I agree. I like all the picks. I like the Pasha playing a more, like, farm-heavy like Nature's Prophet, so I have to go with VP.
Okay, well.
Sorry, Mineski.
Mineski, this is your last chance. If you can win this one, if you could pull ahead, then you still get some DPC points. You can maybe get for that position that you're looking for. That's all on the line. Hopefully soon we can see if Mineski will pull through or VP's just going to take it 2-0. Over to our casters, Cap and Blitz.
That's right, backs against the wall, Mineski has one last chance to be able to prove that they deserve a further placing in this tournament by being able to take down Virtus.pro, not just 1 game, but 2. Blitz, what do you think about their chances you're looking at this draft?
I think that VP might have the advantage, but I'm not really sold on the Necro pick, but I guess I just have to watch to see why it's picked.
All right, game 2 starts now.
Virtus.pro contre Mineski. Game 2.
Virtus.pro versus Mineski. Game 2. VP already up 1 game, and they're also probably the favored team as they have, much like last year, dominated the DPC circuit, already secured themselves TI, but as they've said, they're not really going to be letting up too much, and they're showing that here in the lower bracket, no mercy whatsoever in that first game against Mineski. Mineski, again, have chosen to go for sort of a 3-core lineup where they need several heroes to be able to scale, but it feels like a lineup that's going to come on a lot faster, Blitz.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Mineski's lineup, they have a good mix of damage. They have a good mix of damage types, physical, magic. That's why I was kind of confused with the Necro pick. But I think VP's lineup comes online real quickly as the Fissure's going to come in.
You're going to be your first blood unless the Fairy Fire. No chance. The last shot from no one will secure the first blood.
And it never feels good giving first blood away to the enemy mid. That's nearly 300 gold. Most likely at least 3 of these bounty runes secured as Raging Potato. They might even get 4 here as the Nature's Prophet in position to get the 2 ones at bottom as
Raging Potato tries to set it up, does manage to grab that bounty rune, but still, Virtus.pro, I mean, Pasha was able to push back single-handedly, pushes back the opposing Mineski side, gets both those bounty runes at bottom, so 3 for 1 with the first blood going to VP as well. This is not a great setup for Mineski in game 2.
Yeah, if you got first blood plus all 4 bounty runes, that's the real mid-player's dream. Almost accomplished as he was just half a second late, Roger, on that fissure. And it's actually going to be Ramses in this mid lane.
Okay. Do you think that matchup is better?
I think Naga's fine. Like, you probably just trade out farm. It's hard for you to die. You've got high armor, so his right click and his sleight of fist doesn't actually pressure you that much as top lane, the fissure.
Great fissure block. He's going to try and go for the splitter to stop some of this damage, but it's definitely dodged by Roger. And again, no one is the one to claim the kill.
Yeah, and that's going to be 2 early kills on this Necrolite. Probably the hero that I thought was going to struggle at least a little bit. I assume once he gets like Hood, he'll be fine. I remember I was told the trick with Necro is to not get fooled into thinking you need a BKB. I think that was Mad that said that in an interview. He's like, don't get tricked into buying BKB on Necro.
Yeah, obviously not a whole lot of synergy having that magic immunity with your Ghost Shroud as well. Not really working.
Raging Potato playing this support puck. Did play a very good Venge last game. Just didn't really have a lot of options on that hero.
It's funny, the panel was talking about it, and you know, I understood when Gonz was saying, like, you know, this is not the hero that I'm expecting out of Raging Potato, but a 3-position Leshrac, you know, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel that this hero needs the net worth. He needs the farm. And in this sort of matchup, it's not a bad Leshrac game. I mean, you got the Necrophos, who's obviously going to be exposed to the magic damage, and this AoE damage against Naga Siren is also very welcome.
Yeah, same with the Nature's Prophet. Like, it's a hero that clears all of these heroes. And, I mean, he can get tanky enough, I think, to just straight up carry this game.
But they need to be able to have a better laning phase, and the current setup of the defensive tri-lane from Virtus.pro has secured the Necrophos total free farm on top of the 2 kills. You can see right now, Solo is doing what he's done so many times before, looking for the courier interception, but it actually headed out to bottom lane. So he's not going to find it here. Maybe, no, there's no way. There's no ganking this mid lane for a Naga Siren on a full HP Ember, I don't think.
No, I think it's very unlikely. But Ramses, if you notice, like, he just backs out as soon as he pops the Flame Guard.
Yeah. Bottom lane, Pasha teleporting away. He will be fine, and he will come back to the lane quite soon with the natural teleport that Nature's Prophet has.
Yeah, did get a little bit low, but instead both supports now going to make their way towards this bottom lane. They want to try to pressure Moon. They feel like they've given their Necro enough of a lead, I think, just to abandon him.
Yeah.
And sort of leave him up there to trade out farm. But they want to try to enable Pasha's game, and they're both down here, but the pull already happening.
Blitz, would I be remiss in saying it feels like the Virtus.pro supports move around the map like a lot more than other support pairs in top tier teams?
Yeah, it's because even though Solo buys all the warps, he still plays like he's a 4.
Yeah.
And that's pretty unique, just because when you see him on these lines and these disruptors, you always see him moving around the map. Like, he's, at his heart, a killer.
Yeah.
He does not want to be the passive, I'm going to trade farm out. Like, I think probably what I think of Solo is when he plays, he just goes around the map, sets up for kills, very offensive-minded player. He's not like one of those pull stackers, I'm going to get you Ancients and I'm going to smoke for wards. He's like, I'm out here for blood.
I mean, like Disruptor, I feel like he's his signature hero. And he is also the most active Disruptor I've ever seen in my life. Most Disruptors, they like to just chill out in lane with their Thunderstrike, abuse that fact, but Solo actually moves around the map and ganks with level 1 Glimpse and level 1 Kinetic Field oftentimes, so, and is very effective at it too. Moon doing a little bit of battling here, 4-minute rune spawn, and it's actually top for Ramses, an arcane rune for him.
Yeah, and they are putting just pressure on this Dro. I think it's unlikely that she dies. She has enough stats at this point, but they are going to make the attempt anyways.
With the right Fisher block here, Moon moves forward, but at the same time they're going to the top lane, leaving no one alone. The Ghost Shroud's going to protect him against the Diabolic Edict damage, and he is more than fine, while the Dro Ranger couldn't be more the opposite. Dies in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were actually able to set up on that. He barely got caught at the edge of that kinetic field, and Roger always managing to find the block out with the Earthshaker.
Another stun lands on no one. But again, it seems like with the double bracers, he's looking totally fine. Virtus.pro had just a very solid read on what this Puck and Leshrac can do. And one of those things, they cannot kill this Necrophos, it seems. 5-minute bounty runes spawned up, and it looks like Virtus.pro have full control of the top lane.
Why did it say the Dire killed Solo?
Looks... What? I just saw that pop up and I just assumed he suicided to a tier 2 situation. Why does it say the Dire?
Who knows? I hope that's just like a visual bug. And
all right. Hopefully we get eyes on that at some point with a replay or something. Ajit trying to chase down Solo.
Is going to get juked out though and doesn't have any levels of the chains as is usual nowadays.
Yeah.
So going to be unable to get the last hit on the captain. Roger making his way back down here. Moon played the Dro last game, had a rough time with the amount of pressure that they put on him. And it's just the pace that VP often sets with their 2 supports, like you said. Roaming around the map, they want to get in your face and aggressive at all times. They don't want you to be able to just farm and sit there and chill.
They should know he's here because they had a defensive ward, but maybe they didn't somehow. Roger, they lost sight of him as he was hiding in that hole and will be able to get the Fisher stun, trying to go for the body block as well onto no one, Moon, and they will be able to get the treants in front of him. Beautifully set up, tries to eat his way through the trees, does so successfully, finds a little shortcut to be able to get through. Now Ninja Boogie tries to return the favor onto Roger, getting in front of him, slowing him as much as possible because they have the puck here. It does manage to land the nuke, gets the silence as well to finish him up. Raging Potato, though, is now stuck inside the trees with Solo and Pasha beating on him. Ninja Boogie trying to help him out as best as possible. They do kill that puck. Moon is a little bit low, and Solo says, screw it, I'm just going to go for the Dro Ranger, but he's a little bit too tanky. Now the physical damage turns back around onto Solo with a fresh round of treants. Look at him, he just turns around, gets the glimpse, throws that Moon into position onto Pasha, but Ajit is potentially here to save the day. The Fire allows Moon to be able to survive a little bit longer. Now he's got the healing self, and Roger realizes this is a suicide attempt that he's not going to be able to land onto Moon. He tries to run away, but is futile in the end as Ajit will be able to pick up the double kill. What a big rotation from that Ember Spirit.
Very well done from the Ember, and even nicer from Moon, finding those angles, surviving as long as he possibly could.
Pasha showing up. KP actually did not have any chance or anything. They have the ultimate from no one. Reaper's Scythe does not actually get the kill, so there's no extra death timer on the Leshrac, but they still secure the 5 for 5, 7.5 minutes in. A very even game so far for a laning phase.
I mean, we saw this in the last game. Mineski, I mean, the hallmark of a good team is being able to win laning phases, I think. And they were able to do so, at least in terms of individual skill. It also means that their draft, at least, is balanced for this portion of the game. And now they're going to commit towards this bottom tower. I mean, they had a very good start last game. It's really the mid-game team fights that I think will determine most of it. And so that's where I'll reserve judgment on how this game, if it looks any better from Mineski.
Virtus.pro lost their offlane tower. So they're trying to do the same here to Mineski, but Leshrac and Puck are easily able to defend.
And this tower is so hard to take, or normally is just because it's so easy for heroes on the Radiant side to rotate over. Your mid player can cut in from 3 different angles. As long as he has a ward on that high ground, he feels real comfortable just walking up boldly. And that's why Virtus.pro, when the Ember Spirit goes missing for a second, they back up.
I was kind of expecting the Ember Spirit to rotate top and try and shut down the Necrophos, but it seems like he put a larger priority in securing the Drow Ranger a better game, and Drow is suffering a bit, sitting at only 3,000 net worth compared to the other 3 cores. The Ember Spirit, Naga, and they are going to be throwing out that Fissure.
I love this rotation by him, by the way. He's not needed top.
Yeah.
But he is needed mid. He sees 3 heroes there, and I like this rotation even more from Mineski. They're going to put pressure on this top lane. They're just going to dodge around the map.
They just kind of keep going where the Necrophos isn't, right?
Yes, and more importantly, where they know people have committed TPs to.
Right.
They saw the TP commitment from the Necro towards this mid lane, so they're saying instantly, let's go there ourselves. It's very unlikely that VP can take our tower in mid, so let's just get a little bit out of everywhere.
And it helps that the 10-minute bounty runes are going to be spawning. No one is currently trying to get one of these runes, but the Jakiro has spotted him out. KP and Ajit are not rotating over yet. They're trying to get as much damage on this tier 1 as possible. No one goes for the defense here. We'll see whether or not Mineski want to try and commit on him, or if he's just a bit too tanky with this double bracer build. Pick up the bounty runes. Looks like they might think about returning to this top lane, though I'm not fully convinced. This is a level 8 Necrophos, and now he's got supports behind him. The pickoff here as the glimpse comes out from Solo. Solo, who, by the way, is level 6. They are going to use the Reaper Sight. That was a guaranteed kill, but they just want the added death timer, I guess, on this Jakiro.
Always feels nice to use it on supports, but no one immediately actually just goes back towards mid. He's sort of just being rallied around the map as Roger.
And I love this rotation from the Ember Spirit. He reads the TP's coming out. They're going to have to defend mid, so I'm going to head to top, try and pick off one of these supports. Failing that, I'll at least get this top tower. Mineski just keeps on running no one around the map.
Yeah, and eventually they are going to take the top tower. The mid tower gets denied, which isn't great, but positionally it's fantastic for you.
Yeah.
So as long as Mineski can now defend this mid tower and this bottom tower, they're going to be in a really good position when it comes to map control. They've taken 3 tier 1s. They're going to block this push at bottom lane. As long as the Jakiro's here on the side of Mineski, like, he just holds the mid tower, no problem. He also gets farm. All of this works out for them. And that's why for the first time in forever, well, for like 2 seconds, they got the net worth lead. They were lagging behind the entirety of last game.
It's a little surprising, right, that they've taken 3 tier 1 towers. One of them was denied, sure, but still 3 towers off the map, and Mineski is still only barely like 100 or 200 up in net worth right now.
Yeah, I will say, because of the caveat of the Naga Siren with her Hand of Midas, which is not an item we often see on Naga Sirens for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Virtus.pro, they defeated the Mineski Naga Siren, the offlane Naga Siren here. They're going to take Naga Siren into their own hands and show Mineski how it's done. The smoke is going to run into each other, but Raging Potato running into no one. That's not really the hero they can go for and gank. Oh, the Fissure was almost perfectly timed. Now they're going to be able to get the glimpse back, though, and Raging Potato is in trouble. Goes for the silence. They do not have the Reaper Sight, nor do they need it, as the Wrath of Nature will be able to finish up that puck. Ninja Boogie does manage to land the Ice Path here. Ajit just going to run down this captain, and no one's a bit low on mana. And with this many heroes, they might be able to catch him unless a good Fissure block comes out from Roger. That will separate the 2 teams enough that the Necrophos retreats. Pasha does take the offlane tower in the meantime.
And look at the build from the Ember Spirit, by the way. This is not something that I see often, if at all.
Yeah, what do you think? They just need a Spirit Vessel so badly?
I guess so.
Against the Necrophos? That
he feels like he needs to create this like mid-game timing, be very aggressive onto no one, as Look at Ninja Boogie just juking him outside their shoes.
That is amazing.
I think he's okay. I think he's going to cut to the right. You should clap for this. This was sick.
The 1%. And that certainly was a 1%. What a beautiful little juke through, making good use of that Quelling Blade, because he's saying, hey, I mean, I'm matched up against a Furion. He's going to sprout people. I might as well have some way to clear through trees, and allows him to get away here. 6-7, Virtus.pro, as they start taking towers, will swing that net worth a little bit more determinedly in their favor. What are your thoughts on this Anamitis, by the way? I know you said not really a Naga item.
I think most people don't love Hanamitis on heroes like that, because all it does is it's purely for farm and XP. On a hero like Naga, the attack speed that she benefits from is sort of marginal.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay with it, because he hasn't been pressured at all. Like, it works if you're not being pressured whatsoever, and this Naga isn't. And they don't really need her to fight. Like, they've been taking fights without her comfortably as Raging Potato.
He does have an orb coming up in a second here, but that's why the Reaper Sight is immediately used by no one. He knows he has the damage to ensure the kill. As long as they have a disable here, Pasha will reveal KP, or KP will reveal a kill onto Pasha instead. But now they're at a disable, and they may not have the damage. No, they barely get it. Pasha is just milliseconds from being able to complete that TP, but unable to do so. And that's going to give Mineski an advantage here, as 20 seconds till the next round of bounty runes are up.
I thought he was out of there for a second.
Yeah.
Nice attempt, but bounty runes spawning. It looks like they should at least trade one of them.
Maybe 3. Nagasiren actually has illusions in position at
setting
top,
up.
but they're going to go for it. Yule Scepter goes out the Fissure, making sure there's no chain stun from KP here, but he's got to get around these treants, and Pasha's just not letting him. One treant stands in front long enough for them to be able to get the glimpse range. Make a kill now for no one.
I think they did get 4 bounty runes though, right?
It was
3-1.
Yeah.
It's not the worst trade in the world. They are smoked up though on the 2 supports. Looks like they want to make the long wrap around, but they don't know. Mineski's also smoked up.
Slight Chains catches Roger. Silence to be able to catch the Disruptor in the back line as well. The Spirit Vessel still ticking on Roger and will be enough damage, but couldn't dodge the ensnare out from Ramses, so the puck does fall. Still just a 4-4 position as this fight continues. They're going to get the Ice Path off the Slight Chains, but Ninja Boogie's got to be careful here as the Reaper's Scythe is not available, but no one still does plenty of right-click damage. Nice 2-man silence out from Moon. This is an opportunity to go in until Ramses resets the fight with a Song of Siren, and they see they want to go for the damage dealer in the back line. Immediately go for the silence on Moon as well as KP. Go for KP first. He does have the Yule Scepter, so instead they turn for Moon, take apart that Drow Ranger, leave KP for second, which they easily get. Jit is now out of mana here as the Ember Spirit until he pops a wand. Has plenty of mana to work with. That's why he's going to use it all to try and blow up no one, but doesn't have enough. No one with the magic resistance. Now the Reaper side comes back into flavor.
Do you want to be
no
here?
one. Now he's going to regen up. Raging Potato jumped in, but he's dead as well. Mineski get wiped. Virtus.pro now take full control of this game as they take a 3,000 net worth lead, wiping Mineski off the map, and will take the mid tower.
That sleep combo setup was so sick. And this is what I mean. Against a team like VP, maybe you can have an even laning phase, but what are your team fights going to look like? What is your mid game going to look like? They are so good at setting up around their fights. They always pick these aggressive heroes that can continuously fight too.
Yeah.
They just bludgeon you over time. That fight lasted like 45 seconds, and it led to like 6 heroes dying on the side of Mineski.
And this is part of the risk, I think, of picking up this Drow Ranger. We're going to see that one again as they just kind of got a little bit baited in. They saw that 2-man silence. It was sick, but Ramsey's perfect positioning in the high ground.
Look at that.
And
the
KP
4-man sleep.
Just got a little too close. They see a perfect Static Storm kinetic field combination. And from there, the fight's just over. And again, the Drow Ranger pickup, I feel like a lot of this tournament, the group stage and the early parts of the playoffs has been about Drow Ranger and whether or not teams have the ability to counter it. And we've seen plenty of heroes, Spectre, PA. We've now seen Nagasiren used to great effectiveness to close the distance on the Drow and completely neutralize her.
And part of it too is that VP has had a lot of practice against Drow. they've given up that hero to multiple teams.
Yes.
And they've given up twice now in this series alone, and it feels like they're still comfortable playing against it because they just have so much experience against it. They're not fearing it in this tournament. The further it goes, even in this loser bracket, it's a hero that a lot of teams find very strong, but it's such a huge boon to them to have that experience playing against it in this tournament and winning against it several times.
Is getting real concerning as KP has begun to become like a total non-factor. He just has a Yule Scepter. He's got no stats behind him, so he's just getting blown up in every fight, and it was supposed to be the idea of a core Leshrac. You have the stats, you can actually do a lot of good AoE damage against this Naga Siren, but instead, he just dies so quickly to the Naga. Pasha's gonna be found here. Zajit chases him down. Raging Potato gives him the vision, and eventually they will be able to cut him down. Ajit's damage has been slowed down because of the Spirit Vessel, but because of that kill and a little bit of creeps, he will soon have a Maelstrom, which will help out a lot, especially for the Furion and Naga.
They haven't been able to enable KP in either of these games.
Yeah.
Just not really giving him the best chance at a lane. Not really giving him the best heroes to come back and fight with either.
I mean, his game one, like that was one of the most miserable laning phases I've seen.
He got tri-laned and he was a Naga Siren.
Yeah, he like there was nothing you could do. No matter how good you are in that situation, you're just gonna get zoned out. And this game should have gone a little bit better. Matched up for a lot of time against the solo Necrophos, but the mid game is what turned pretty terrible. As a couple lost fights, and now that Naga Siren, the Hand of Midas, is really paying off. Hasn't really been punished at all and is rapidly getting farther and farther ahead. The stun comes out from the Leshrac, doing some damage to Ramses here. Naga not gonna commit. Oh, geez, the heavy nuke of the Wrath of Nature.
Leaves him with 100, and he's gonna backpedal his way out of there as Pasha, faking the TP, but there's no way that he's actually going to complete that.
Spotting him, looking for the glimpse. Look at Pasha's positioning. He TP's up to the high ground, knowing as long as they get the vision, they'll get the glimpse. And with that, Raging Potato, Reaper's side, see ya for 65 seconds.
That is so long.
And
that is such a long time. That's like 5% of this game that he's going to be dead for now.
Yeah.
And that's the second time I think I've seen him Reaper Scythe. He's been dead for like 10% of this game just through Reaper Scythes. Just been on the sidelines.
Another Maelstrom from the Drow Ranger. I will say, a godlike spree on no one. Mineski's only down by 4,000 net worth. If they can put together one good team fight and kill no one, they'll get so much gold back, but it's been a rough time, and now he's got Guardian Greaves as well as a Plate Mail. And about to get this tier 2. Mineski, with their smoke up, is trying to set up, get into position here. They're going to run into this Naga Siren here, but they're trying to control him as much as possible. The silence should be able to finish him off. There's going to be no Naga Siren in this fight. No reset possibility here. That's why they're going to be able to chase down Solo here. Pasha, no chains. Not going to be able to stop him. So at least they get a support on top of that Naga Siren pickoff. Still missing that big Necrophos kill. That would help a lot, though.
Yeah. Getting the core there, though, is so important for them. They haven't really been able to touch Ramses this entire game. They haven't really punished him for going this greedier Midas build. And finally, 21 minutes into the game, they grab him. But Roger now picks up his big item in the Blink Dagger. They still have a lot of team fight on the side of VP, and they haven't really had to utilize that Naga Siren. The one fight in which he participates in, they set up for that huge mid-game team fight where they were able to grab the tower as well. So Mineski, you can't slow down the pace of this game, I think. You have to continue to look for these engagements.
Just hoping for Raging Potato's sake that he does not die to another Reaper Scythe with a buyback there. We're going to be talking about like a 90-second death timer or something extreme for him. He's trying to finish up a Blink Dagger right now, and he's getting pretty close, but somebody's Blink is already complete. And that's the Roger. His Earthshaker is combat ready now.
I think right now, Mineski
Caught him. Coil goes out, just trying to delay as long as possible, but he had to be able to. Ooh, this is a big kill, though. Pasha, very important. Mineski bring all 3 cores up here, kill him, and his treants too.
I think the downside of VP's lineup is it's not super easy for them to Roche. Like their cores, no one can really fight it. Naga Siren's not excellent at it until she gets a lot more items. The Nature's Prophet's not bad whatsoever, and I think that's why, if I saw last he was building for Medallion and a Solar Crest, that would be one way to solve a lot of those problems. Just like have a lot of range heroes and fight into it with some minus armor. Whereas for Mineski, I think it's very easy for them to Roche. That is the benefit that Dro gives you, is that she clears Roshan very quickly.
Yeah.
Ember Spirit's bad at it. Leshrak's not great either, but Dro especially is quite nice at being able to do so. So Mineski's always just one fight away from being able to walk into the Roche pit.
And I do kind of like their itemization here of double Maelstrom suit Mjolnir for Moon, as that'll help just, being able to put out a lot more magic damage against both the Necrophos, but also clearing through Treants, being able to clear through Naga Siren illusions. She's got very heavy armor, but the magic damage could help you a lot here. Ice Path leading things off. The Leshrac wasn't sure if he was close enough to get a Split Earth or not. Either way, he doesn't go for it. And Solo actually smokes them up here, but the double damage rune will allow Ramses to continue to go for this Roche. The Medallion, they can actually do it pretty quickly here. The Ice Path goes out, doesn't actually stall whatsoever. They can throw out the Macropyre now. Mineski wants to go in. They need to go in right now because Roshan's about to fall. That's why no one just goes outside the pit. He's going to zone out Mineski while they ensure this Aegis. They're going to try and go for the fast kill on no one, but he does get off the Ghost Shroud in time before the physical damage can follow up. Silence out. Ramsey still able to get it off, though, as he gets to the Manta, into the Song of Siren, and he's going to catch two of these supports. Locked in by the Static Storm. No hope for an escape. One of them will get Reaper's Scythe, and yep, that's 75 seconds on the clock for him. Ninja Boogie eventually falls for a beyond godlike double kill for no one's Necrophos.
Mineski did get the last hit on the Roshan, though.
Oh, really? They did with the Macropyre.
Yeah, either that or I think it was maybe the orb that flew in at the last second. I didn't quite see, but it was a snatch from VP. So overall gold, not the worst thing in the world for them.
Yeah.
Very smart pick up the Medallion, though.
He's going to be okay. Between the Lotus Orb and the Guardian Greaves, like, they just can't actually keep no one silent for very long, so he's always able to get off the Ghost Shroud.
And Ramses didn't opt to go for the Diffusal, so not trying to get into this, like, chase fight. More so just trying to get his illusions as tanky as possible. Yeah. Solo pressing forward, was looking for the angle on somebody to glimpse back. And this is why VP always looks so good with this Disruptor. It's just because of how aggressive they are. I mean, Disruptor as a hero looks really bad when you're behind.
Yeah.
But when you're ahead, he looks so broken because nobody gets out for free.
We're going to take a look at that Roshan fight once again. Looks like the orb may have been a little bit late.
It was the Macropyre.
That was like the last tick of Macropyre damage, too. Look at it, just falls almost immediately after Roshan dies. They're going to head back into the game. The high ground push is coming out from Pasha. They do manage to get the puck out of there until he's glimpsed back again, but a good Ice Path, kind of zoning some of these heroes and getting some damage on Ramses as well.
Still quite healthy on the side of VP as they try to assail this tower.
Gonna poke and poke until someone from Virtus.pro gets a little too low, and then they can commit at the same time. KP is pushing out the bottom lane, having faith in his team to be able to defend this push 4 versus 5. He calls Virtus.pro's bluff, doesn't back up, and is rewarded with some extra farming time. He really needs that BKB. (13-20). 27 minutes in. Virtus.pro to have a 5,000 net worth lead, but it's a game that feels relatively even. VP is winning, yes, but we just have one good fight. Again, such a large kill bounty on no one especially, that Mineski could take control of the game once again. But they struggle to be able to get even one like really solid team fight in game 1 with their Song of the Siren setup. And game 2, Virtus.pro has been stymieing all their attempts again. Moon alone in the jungle here. Some nice vision out from Virtus.pro. Knows the Drow Ranger is isolated right here. They're going to be able to catch him.
It's a lot of damage she's putting out, but not going to be quite enough as no one signaling his team already begins the assault onto this mid tower. Everyone else is going to come in now.
Great opportunity to force a buyback here
out of a big core.
Look at this with the Solar Crest. Now Ramses is a tower hitter.
Tries to hit Ramses here. They need to
One
be able
way
to
to
get
do
a
it.
strong initiation before they buy back on this Drow Ranger. They're beginning to do some damage. Dual Scepter goes out, trying to get the Split Earth follow-up, but there's Roger with the Fissure. Stop that one. They still have the chains, though. Ramses immediately pops that Manta to try and run away, dodging the Split Earth once again. No one is keeping Ramses pretty healthy, and he's got an Aegis for himself. Lands that stun, a lot of magic damage flowing in onto Ramses. Needs to be able to get KP out though, otherwise he's gonna get Reaper Sight down. Does get the Dual Scepter off. The Reaper Sight wasn't gonna be enough. They get the silence out. The Drow Ranger refusing to buy back. Now they get the coil. Still no buyback whatsoever from the Leshrac either. 3-man Ice Path well set up by the Jakiro, but won't stop him from dying. And finally, we'll have the first buyback. That's gonna be out of the Jakiro.
You're most likely losing
chains.
racks for this.
Maybe they're just going to give up on this mid laner barracks, as you say. Drow Rangers back up. Chains again. 2-man silence as well, but these heroes are still decently healthy, and there's the Saga Siren. They have the Static Storm on the 2 of them here. The Drow Ranger as well as Dutch are not going to be able to get out of this one. Now he's going to be forced into a buyback, but the Ember Spirit's going to die as well. Another buyback flowing in. Mineski have to be able to catch some heroes here. They can't let VP simply retreat like this. But the puck didn't have a coil. He didn't have a way to stop VP from just walking away from such a heavy investment of Mineski.
You see the discipline too from Virtus.pro. As soon as somebody makes the call to go back, they are back as a unit. Nobody blinks out. They're walking back together so that they can be ready to turn around and take a 5-on fight if somebody gets caught. That is discipline, instantly listening to the call at the same time.
Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
Mineski got to get out there. 30-minute bounty runes, being 15K behind and giving everything up. That's why Ajit is in the position he is. He's trying to go for the kill on a solo right now. Not getting the bounty rune though, not being able to get the kill either. Has to jump away.
Lotus Orb and heals is going to be enough.
Oh, but they got the glimpse. That's no good. Moon.
This was the buyback.
100 seconds now, and at this point, VP, they're just going to start running down a lane somewhere. Mineski, quick to be able to push out a wave, hoping to be able to stall as much as possible. Pasha teleports right on top of KP. But no real fight. Roger just keeps on shadowing Raging Potato here. Raging Potato gets hit by the Wrath of Nature, which may signal him something's up until he gets hit by the Fissure and Chant Totem Aftershock stun. No Echo Slam yet, but he's going to come back eventually. Doesn't actually get him as he blinks away, but thanks to the Thunder Strike, they still have the vision.
Yeah, and still 60 seconds on this Drow Ranger, 40 seconds on this Puck. They're at the very least probably going to get 2 sets here as the Puck buys back. But do they have enough damage?
4 versus 5 because Virtus.pro will get megas at this rate. KP leading the way. Dual Scepter. Oh, trying to go for the splitter. Stop at the Saga Siren. Look at that. Again,
Look
the
how
positioning.
good they are at
2
this.
heroes grouped up. There's a third kind of on the edges there. They are going to be able to get the Static Storm Reaper Sight combo that cuts the Ember Spirit down for 140 seconds. And that's just it right there. You don't have any of your cores left. Mineski just going to watch buildings die and call GG. Give him the good luck further because Virtus.pro are indeed moving on in this lower bracket.
And a very valiant effort from Mineski there. I mean, 2 times in a row, I think one of the best teams at laning. They took it to them back to back, but just unable to close out that mid game. The team fights were so in favor of VP every single time. They weren't able to ever burst down no one. The Static Storm follow-up from the sleep, they set up so well around it every single time.
Yeah, they really showed you, hey, we can use Naga Siren better. I also love the last picks coming out from them, like these different looks in the mid-Ancient Apparition, this mid-Necrophos. We're not really seeing anybody do these sorts of things, and Virtus.pro is definitely showing that there's a lot when it comes to drafting against them that teams have to be aware of.
Yeah, they're being very varied with their approach. And oftentimes I heard the way to beat VP, just beat them in laning phase and they don't know what to do. Well, these were 2 very even laning phases and they still crushed you in team fights. So I like the consistency from them and I just like how they're playing the game so far, the way that their drafts are structured. It feels like they're giving themselves a much stronger mid game.
Whether it's execution or draft, VP look just a bit next level for some of these lower bracket teams. We go to the panel now to see how far can VP go in this tournament.
Thank you so much, Cap. Yes, VP do move on, and it is a solemn day for SEA fans everywhere, as Mineski exits the major, and we see VP still move on, though. Some of your best teams around in Dota still to come. But guess what else we have? A surprise for you. Tsunami is actually back. Back from the hospital. We did actually do, we lit his beard on fire for a content piece, but go ahead and remove your bandages, sir.
Did survive.
Okay. Oh, he's hideous. Oh, no. The operation was botched.
Screw you guys. Can't get rid of me like that.
Welcome back, Tsunami. So good to see you.
His beard actually did get burned off. He just grew a new one back.
I got that
quickly.
Wolverine regen pretty much.
Much like a llama, just gets in there real quick and thick.
Yes.
How's that like a llama? A llama's known for getting in there quick.
And thick.
Absolutely. Fun fact, alpaca fur, inflammable. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're nature's firefighters. You can't light that stuff on
Tsunami is alpaca is what we're learning.
Potentially.
Pretty much.
I hope so. So, enough of our fun and games here. Let's talk about serious stuff. Mineski's gone, boys. Any words to say to them before they exit the arena?
Yeah, it's another anticlimactic finish for a team that we would hope a little bit more from. I think VP were kind of just toying around with them a little bit. I still am not entirely convinced by that Necro last pick. It seemed more like something that Blitz and Cap were saying at the end of the game, where they're being varied with their approach, and why not take an experiment? This is Drow Ranger, the hero of the tournament, and Mineski were adamant about picking it, and this is a new approach to dealing with her.
Gave them a really good frontliner, but I think Mineski's draft was actually really solid that game. But au revoir, Mineski.
Au revoir, Mineski. But I'm upset about the Drow Ranger, okay? Teams, just because Drow isn't banned doesn't mean you have to take it, does it? She's not that strong. Build your own strategies. I would have loved to see Moon on some more, big playmaking heroes, things that are more adapt to his playstyle.
Yeah, you told me that Moon was going to be playing Drow 2 games in a row. I'd be like, I don't know if that's a good thing for Mineski. You don't want this guy playing Drow. He's not a Drow player.
All right.
Ajit as well. He's also not really a Drow player. Maybe it's a hero Mineski should just be avoiding. Yeah, it's one of the top meta heroes. Doesn't matter. Make your own identity as a team.
Sure.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the bands over the heart rate monitor in the hospital, but I'm pretty sure that whatever Mineski were banning out in lieu of the Drow, and then they were like, well, we'll take it instead.
Yeah, they had first overall pick, so they were like, okay, we have first pick, we don't need a ban Drow.
Well, boys,
well, we'll leave it through.
How about we hear some stuff from the teams themselves? We got VP No One here for an interview.
Thank you. Congratulations on that convincing win. So in game 1, you guys won the game and they picked Naga. In game 2, you picked Naga. Is it kind of your way to say, let me show you how it's done?
I mean, not this way, but they pick Naga position 3. It's a bit different. So, I mean, I can say that it was this way. We just pick it because we like this hero and this draft, and that's all.
稍微问了一下，他们第2把选了娜迦是不是现场教学？然后他说，其实3号位娜迦不太一样的，他们选了娜迦只是因为喜欢玩这个英雄。So VP dropped down to lower bracket really, really early this tournament, like the last major. How does it feel playing from the lower bracket?
A lot of people saying that you are under pressure, but for me and for my team, I think that we have no pressure at all. We just wanted to play Dota, and doesn't matter upper bracket or lower bracket.
The same.
It's the same.
我问了一下，因为 VP 也是很早掉入败者组，他们从败者组打上来是什么样的感觉？他说，其实胜者组跟败者组都一样，都只是打 DOTA， 打好自己就行。So your next opponent is LGD. You've played them several times this season. What do you think of them?
I mean, they look pretty strong, so I think that's going to be rough and fun games for both sides.
他们下一个对手是老干爹，然后他们这个赛季也交手了几次。我问了一下他们对老干爹的看法，他说老干爹非常强，然后